And I'm Deidre Johnson. This week, teachers in the Salem-Keizer School District are voting on whether or not to strike. Thomas Schultz joins us from the district headquarters.
Thousands of nurses are out on the picket lines at 6 hospitals. It's day one of the strike that will last 3 days.
A man is in custody after what Clark County Sheriff deputies are calling a murder plot against his wife. David, on May 7th, 2025, the Transportation Security Administration will no longer accept a standard Oregon driver's license.
David Ranella says it's a miracle he's here today. Just last fall, he was hospitalized after a carjacking and an attack outside his business. Then doctors told him he had cancer, and he's been fighting it ever since.
Well, the suspect, who's accused of driving through a barricade during the Shamrock Run this weekend, was expected to make his first court appearance today. Now to some surprising new numbers on home sales. Sales are actually surging in the U.S. after high mortgage rates had slowed the market. Markham Elementary in Southwest Portland will not reopen in time for the upcoming school year after it was severely damaged in January's ice storm.
The Vietnam Veterans of Oregon Memorial is considered to be a living memorial. The hope is that it brings healing and peace to everyone on this Memorial Day and for many days to come.
Deputy Armstrong responded to the call last month and knew right away the dog needed a forever home.
This is KGW News at Sunrise.
This morning on Sunrise, former President Donald Trump injured after shots ring out during a rally on Saturday. The former president is safe, but one audience member was killed, many condemning the assassination attempt across the political aisle. Good morning. Thank you for getting up with us. I'm Deidre Johnson. FBI agents have identified the gunman as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. He was killed by Secret Service agents on the scene. Investigators are working to determine a motive. Trump returned to his home in New Jersey last night. Joe Biden left Delaware early to return to the White House after he condemned the attack. The shooting comes just days before the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. Trump is expected to officially be named the Republican presidential nominee at the event. NBC's Bree Jackson reports from Milwaukee and breaks down Saturday's chaotic scene. Stay with KGW for continuing coverage on air and online. We have reaction from local lawmakers and a timeline of how the day unfolded in Pennsylvania on KGW.com. Well, taking a live look outside, the sun is up and we're looking forward to another warm day. Let's turn to Daisy Caballero for a quick look at our Sunday forecast. Hey, Daisy.
Hey, Deidre. Good morning.
All right. Thanks so much, Daisy. We're tracking a developing story in northeast Portland. Police are investigating a shooting at Broughton Beach near PDX. Officers arrived to find 2 men dead. Detectives say the suspect or suspects left the scene before officers were called. No one has been arrested. If you have any information on the shooting, call police. In southeast Portland, police are investigating a fatal shooting at Selwood Riverfront Park. Many neighbors are concerned about the shooting that happened at the local park. The U.S. Coast Guard says it suspended the search for 2 missing people after a boat capsized near the mouth of the Columbia River. This is video sent in by a fisherman in the area. The Coast Guard told KGW 5 people went overboard when a 26-foot pleasure craft hit the Columbia River bar around 10:30. 3 were pulled from the water after the accident. 2 of those people are doing fine, and 1 person was pronounced dead at the scene. We've got a major traffic alert this morning. I-84 is now closed in both directions between I-5 and I-205. Crews are picking up trash and cleaning up graffiti. It's a problem that's grown recently across the Rose City. ODOT says the closure will also allow them to do maintenance. Well, plans for a 24/7 sobering center have been delayed. The center is something the county hasn't had since 2019. Kali Boshi has the details. Still to come on Sunrise, firefighters continue battling a large wildfire in Wasco County. How one woman in the area is helping those on the front lines.
David Ranella isn't taking for granted he's here today.
I've been gone for 4 months. I had to go down to the Mayo Clinic. I had a little cancer problem.
Not only is he battling the disease, but he almost lost his life when he was beat up outside his business in October of last year. Several people attacked him when he saw them breaking into his car.
Then they discovered that I had a heart attack when I was getting beaten on the side of my building. And it's a big deal because it's my first day back. Is the driver still there?
Now, after going through all that, he's celebrating the 110th anniversary of Ranella Produce. It's a business that provides all kinds of fresh fruits and vegetables.
To save them money meal by meal, you know, to give them nice Roma tomatoes at a good price so they can make their salsa, or the navel oranges that taste so good.
So what's the secret to the success of the business? Customer service is the top priority.
They just feel good coming in here. That's what they tell me. They said, you guys just make the atmosphere so nice down here when you come here. So they just happy to come back. And like I said, we always find good deals, so the prices are just great.
For David Ranella, he's thankful to enjoy another day of a business he loves so much.
You know, trying to get my feet on the ground again. And whatever's left of me, you know, with all that radiation that I had to take, I dropped to 158 pounds and probably down about 50, 60 pounds. But I am here.
This is King Elementary, right off of MLK in Alberta. This is where I grew up.
For one youth ambassador, he fondly remembers the King neighborhood.
This is the neighborhood. This is what I know. My tour here is through King neighborhood. It's titled "Whose World Is This?" And through my tour, I just want to tell the story of, you know, my childhood, the childhood of my peers, the history of the community.
Yes, this is Woodlawn Park. This is where I grew up at. This is where I spent many days playing basketball. This is one of the stops from our tour, Hidden Truths.
And for another ambassador, he recalls walking through the Woodlawn neighborhood.
A tour around my neighborhood, Woodlawn Elementary School, and just the neighborhood I grew around. I'm taking you the path that I took when I walked to school and just showing you the stuff I had seen, especially just gentrification.
I went to middle school 2 blocks from here. We went to middle school across the street.
They're both youth ambassadors for the Word is Bond nonprofit.
St. Andrews to Salve is a mile. That's 15 minutes.
They say the King and Woodlawn neighborhoods have changed over the years.
I think it's important for people to understand how the neighborhood has shifted over the years, whether for some people that may be good, for some people that may be bad. I have seen just in my lifetime the demographic of my neighborhood change.
My grandma, she was the first one that came here. She came in the 40s, late 40s, and she came during Vanport time. She was displaced 2 to 3 times and then moved into the house that I was at right now.
We grew up in the same neighborhood.
That's why they're leading walking tours of the neighborhoods on June 19th. They want to make sure they honor the Juneteenth holiday and tell the history of the neighborhood.
And Juneteenth is a really important, almost a sacred day, I would say, for African Americans in this country, the liberation from slavery, and really commemorating that in a way that hasn't been truly recognized.
Come on.
The walking tours are part of the In My Shoes storytelling series and include original poetry and music. It's told by the perspective of the Black youth. They want everyone to remember the past and look forward to the future.
The walking tours are important because they are a platform to amplify Black stories here in Portland, in a city that has not traditionally uplifted or heard Black stories.
It's an emotional day for Charity Crichton and her father, Stefan.
Part of him never did come home, but he has been able to unpack those memories and start talking about it, which is really important for healing.
Stefan served in Vietnam during 1968 and 1969 in the Artillery Division, with the memories of those lost still on their minds.
We go to these places and he sees the shadows of those who were there, and if we can remember them, we keep them alive.
Vern E. Lochner, John E. Wallace.
Charity and her father are at the Memorial Day ceremony by the Vietnam Veterans of Oregon Memorial Fund. The ceremony at Washington Park recognizes the Oregon military members who served and those who lost their lives or are still missing in action.
It's important because it honors those Oregonians, the 808 and the 20 still missing, and the 57,000 additional that served in Vietnam during that era.
For many, the memories of Vietnam and those that didn't come back are still very raw.
I was a platoon leader with India Company 3rd Battalion, 7th Marines. Never thought I'd survive. Couldn't see how it was going to happen. never really had a big connection with what I was going to do when I was going to come home because I didn't think I was going home.
And say on a day like Memorial Day, the Vietnam Veterans of Oregon Memorial is a place of healing.
This is the best memorial, without a doubt, in the entire country because it is literally a place of healing. All you have to do is come up here, shut up, and let it work on you.
And to never forget those that made the ultimate sacrifice.
Being the daughter of a Vietnam veteran, I know freedom isn't free, and it was paid for with a price.